Your life isn't really yours if you always care what others think. And isn't that true? So you need to take ownership of your life. Take ownership of your life. Push past the different aspects of fear in your life and go for it. That way you won't end up living a life of regret. Every time you get out of your comfort zone and do what's in your heart to do, the more confident you'll feel, the more you will take the power out of that fear. When you face fear, that's when it loses its power. Hello, this is Lorraine, and welcome to Healthy Living, Spirit, Soul, and Body. Hello, so today I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to make this video a little on the short side because this past weekend I was visiting my son and my daughter-in-law because my daughter-in-law is due to have triplets in December. So they were having a surprise baby shower for her this past Saturday, and on the spur of the moment I just got my plane tickets and flew out there to be part of it, and it was really a blessing. So I thought rather than skip this week's video, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the danger of people pleasing, okay, and how that can really steal your joy and keep you from being who you're really meant to be, okay? You know, as you may know, I am a reader. I'm always reading books. I always like to educate myself. And here's an interesting thought. So the key to being successful is KEY, keep educating yourself. Okay, so that's one of the things that I try to do. So this information I'm getting from Jen Gotlieb's book called Be Seen. And it's really good. So far, what she's been talking about is the importance of being yourself and being authentic. And if you know her history at all, for a while she was like a heavy metal rocker on a show, and whatever. And what's really funny is that she never even liked heavy metal music. So she basically did it for a job and pretended to be somebody that she really wasn't. And what happened was it really, just ended in such a bad way where she kind of lost herself, okay? She categorizes people-pleasing as being part of fear. She talks about things that you wouldn't normally think of as fear. So let's see what she's got to say. So she talks about, real quick, I'll read these, 6 symptoms of fear. And one of the fear is FOMO. You may have heard that term before, but FOMO, fear of missed opportunity. And she said that really you have to acknowledge that FOMO is actually just a symptom of fear. The next symptom of fear is comparisonitis. She's making up her own words. As long as you're comparing yourself to other people, you're not taking action on what you want. You are exactly where you're supposed to be at the exact right time. The more you should on yourself, compare and focus on the other guy, the longer it will take you to get where you want to be. A lot of truth there. The third symptom of fear is analysis paralysis. And what that says is a lot of times you can analyze things to the point of not doing anything. She says every decision you make will lead you towards something you needed to learn in order to grow to be the person you were meant to be. If you are consistently stepping into the unknown territory in order to grow, failure is inevitable. However, it can be one of the greatest gifts if you will embrace the lessons that come with it. So 4 is perfectionism. And this is kind of like the previous, similar to analysis paralysis, but with perfectionism, the bottom line is nothing is ever perfect, and that's okay. Perfectionism is another symptom of fear that stops us from moving forward. When you refuse to take action until something is perfect, then you will never press go because perfect doesn't exist. The fifth symptom of fear is imposter syndrome. Persistent inability to believe that your success is deserved or has been legitimately achieved as a result of your own efforts or skills. So you're basically downplaying any kind of skills or effort that you're taking. You feel like a fraud. Have you ever had a moment of debilitating fear of being found out as undeserving for a position, job, or responsibility? If so, you're not alone. Persistent inability to believe that your success is deserved or has been legitimately achieved as a result of your own efforts or skills. That's a symptom of fear called the imposter syndrome. And 6 is the one I want to spend most of my time on. And 6 is the disease to please. And the disease to please can disguise itself as good manners or being humble. The symptoms of fear shows up when we downplay our accomplishments and deflect compliments, dimming our light because we don't want to make those around us feel uncomfortable. And I want to just stay there for a little bit because I know that I can tend to fall into that. And I think a lot of people that I talk to have the same fear. They don't want to step out. They don't want to be unique, really. They don't want to really be the person that they are because they're afraid that it will intimidate someone or it will make you seem like you're bragging or, nothing could be further than the truth, because when you're really who you are and you're using your gifts, you're really honoring God with the gifts that He gave you. You're being your best, and that's exactly what God would want you to do. Another thing she says is having the disease to please is also known as being a people pleaser. You know the type. They try to make everyone else happy, even if it means not taking care of themselves. If this is you, listen up, because it's holding you back more than you realize. So I'm going to read right from the book because this stuff is so good. So she says, first and foremost, you're not alone. A survey that was published the year I wrote this book suggested that as many as half of Americans identify as people pleasers. Maybe you don't want to seem like you're bragging, or you're worried a friend will react poorly if you tell her about your new promotion. A lot of women, me included, have experienced this to debilitating levels because we're taught so young that we need to make people like us. So true. We worry that if we shine too bright, the people around us will get jealous or angry. But this often comes with an even deeper rooted fear of stepping out into our fullest potential. Allowing ourselves to take off the mask, fully go for it, and then start to shine can be terrifying because it opens us up to being judged and rejected. But staying small with this perfectly valid excuse of not wanting to upset people or make them feel bad means hurling towards a moment in 20 years when we wake up with regret for never going for it. When I step into the people-pleasing zone, I like to remind myself that playing small doesn't serve the world. The more brightly you allow yourself to shine, the more you will give other people permission to shine their lights too. It's safe to say that fear will manifest every time you're making big moves. But it's important to remember the more these symptoms show themselves, and the more you don't give in to their pleas to pause, the more you will grow. Believe me, I know that moving through fear isn't fun. It's so much easier to give in and go back to binging Netflix instead of taking a risk with your side hustle or having that tough conversation with your team member. But the only way to grow is to get out of that comfort zone and experience some pain, uncertainty, and of course fear. Every time you do, you make it to the other side, you will get that more courageous. So I just felt like I really had to read that section in the book because it was so good, and I think that it really speaks to a lot of people. And I also want to read these 2 quotes that I recently posted on Facebook. So let me just look them up real quick for you. Remember that when you take your first step into the life of your dreams, the first thing to meet you there will be fear. Nod and keep walking. Okay? You're always going to have fear. Fear is, in some ways, part of life. But the bottom line is you need to keep going. You need to look fear in the face and refuse to give in to that fear. Don't put fear in the driver's seat. And there's one other quote that I thought was really good. It says, "Your life isn't really yours if you always care what others think." And isn't that true? So you need to take ownership of your life. Take ownership of your life. Push past the different aspects of fear in your life and go for it. That way you won't end up living a life of regret. Every time you get out of your comfort zone and do what's in your heart to do, the more confident you'll feel, the more you will take the power out of that fear. When you face fear, that's when it loses its power, because you get to see it for what it really is. So I hope you enjoyed this podcast today. It's another beautiful day in New Jersey. It's starting to feel like fall, but it's still warm, so that's the best part. But if you did like this video, please like and subscribe and give me a big thumbs up. And share it with some people that you think are really being hampered by fear and being stopped from taking chances and getting out of their comfort zone. I'm a firm believer that you need to just seize the day. You can't waste your life being afraid. You'll regret it later. It comes with a big price tag, which is regret. And I always say you don't want your tombstone to read, "Died at 30, buried at 60. You want to live your life and be all that you can be. Okay? Have a wonderful week, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.